back to the ISS Vanguard Strategic Campaign playthrough, episode 11. I am very excited about this one. We've located this cluster of steelies. It's everything we've been looking for. We're going to go check it out in the Keppler system, and now, what could possibly go wrong? Meanwhile, what could possibly go wrong? We could have a fate similar to our visit to Atropos, where sadly Jesse did not make it from the radiation poisoning. So, but having kind of recovered from that, having bailed out on that mission before things went too sideways, we decided to focus on our new objective, which is to go to the Keppler system and check things out. So when we last left off, we had jumped back to the bridge phase. So we've gone ahead and set up our command pool, 4 tokens. We have our energy pool, 5. We do have a couple of situations to deal with, so let's grab those and get right into it. So first of all, we had the intersectional games, which we decided not to do because our morale's already at high, so that just gets shuffled back in. But then we also have homesick, so we're either going to have to lose a command token or lose a success. And honestly, at this point, we don't have any production to do. We don't have anything to research. We've kind of just maxed everything out, so I'm just going to go ahead and lose that command token. At this point, other than go to the barracks and resolve new situations, I'm not sure what else there is to do. But these are going to get shuffled back in, and then we'll go ahead and draw our allotment of situations. All right, and the 2 situations we are dealing with now: illegal power diversion. Board crew members are diverting power to recreational holodecks and the unofficial manufacturing of luxury wares. So if we don't resolve this, we're going to lose an energy or lower the morale. Not terrible, though I don't really like losing energy. We want to have as many options as we can. So maybe we'll resolve that. The other situation, or solve that, the other situation is claustrophobia. Madness creeps into people's minds when they are confined to the narrow corridors of the spaceship for too long. Yeah, okay, so we're going to want to go to the situation room to deal with these, because otherwise we're going to definitely have to lower morale, and that's no good. But let's set the 2 of those aside. Those are upcoming situations. Otherwise, we are done with the bridge phase, and we are ready to go to the star map, where we are currently in Iota Pegasi. And from there, let's take a look at our star map. Okay, so here's our current situation. We are in Iota Pegasi. We are heading to Keppler. So first we're going to have to travel to MP 212. That's going to cost 1 energy. And then we're going to have to travel to Keppler. We don't know the energy cost, but the most we've seen any of these is 3. So if it's 3, we're only going to have to pay 2. So let's make sure we've got at least 3 energy to get there. And we are at some point going to be coming back to Iota Pegasi. Don't know when that's going to be. Really not until we get some better lander upgrades. So let's take an opportunity to check out one of the log entries here. Again, if we go to the ship book and take a look, that is going to be Iota Pegasi C1. Spend 2 energy and see what happens. So let's take a look. We're going to log entry 232.
Iota Pegasi C, Twin Moons Exploration Report.
We landed on the surface near the colossal structure that led toward the other moon. The ground is cracked. The cracks get deeper and more jagged the closer they are to the anchoring area. We are surrounded by ruins. The first thing we did was to search for any flora or fauna, but there's not a single trace of organic matter. We set up a makeshift outpost outside the lander and awaited further orders.
All right, so now we have a choice. We can either examine, right? Remember, this is 2 moons with obviously unnatural, some kind of alien-made bridge connecting the 2. So we can either take a look at that bridge and learn more about it, or we can examine the ruined buildings. Pretty interested in both. feel like no trace of flora or fauna or any organic matter. But maybe there's something else useful down here. I think we'll go ahead and examine the ruined buildings and see what that turns up.
Iota Pegasi C, Twin Moons Exploration Report.
The ruins are empty. We find only crumbled walls and roofs. Everything is made of concrete. Regolith mixed with artificial polymers. However, we encountered something interesting. One device was most likely made by a different species, as its technology and aesthetics look vastly different from everything else here. We may try to extract it, but it will take much time and effort.
All right, what are we talking? Would you like to discard one command token to resolve additional effects? Yeah, like I said, we, would go into the situation room. We could go to the barracks. We have 3 level 1 slots available. And we have 3 command tokens. So yeah, I'm going to grab a command token. Also the 2 energy that we should have spent to initiate this. And yeah, I've never actually done this before, so it's kind of exciting. We have discarded command token. Let's see what happens. All right, we found something. Equipment, mobile containment system. From unavailable equipment to the armory. All right, let's grab that and take a look. All right, so we found a mobile containment system. It's a science personal item. When you gain a discovery, you may spend a die to gain 2 leads of the same type. That's pretty interesting. There's definitely some characters that could combo well with. So cool. We'll add that item to the armory. And let's go back to our star map. All right, so we have resolved log 232, and I'm going to just check one thing. All right, so I've updated my map here, right? So log, and I want to just check the log book, and sure enough, if we go to that same entry again, nothing else will happen. Interestingly, when using the log book, it right there tells you what you get for using the command token. So no mystery there. We do still have the option to come back here later and examine the bridge. I've put that in my notes on my star map so that in case we forgot which choice, we don't end up doing the same thing. Also, a lot of times when I'm in my other campaign, when I'm actually recording stuff in the logbook, we're using both the app and the logbook, I'll circle any entry along with a notation of where it came from, if it was on a planet or if it was in a system. And when we choose options, I'll check those off as well. Even if there's not a checkbox, I'll just circle them so that kind of have that running record. Not doing that in this time around, but we can leave notes here. So, all right. So we have 3 energy left. Let's not take any chances or mess around since we're flying into the unknown. So we're going to spend 1 energy and we're going to fly over to MP 212 and let's see what we find there. All right. This system moves in the opposite direction to the rest of the stars in the cluster as if in defiance of the global expansion of the universe. Wow. We have MP212, Mermaid. Researching the strange spectrum of this star may give us some insight into the system. It's going to cost us 3 energy, which we don't have. We only have 2. We have an asteroid belt, a dense belt of asteroids full of rare, precious metals. We can spend 3 energy to gain a command token. Okay. And we've got MP212D. The ring system of this planet reflects and amplifies the light of the sun. The science section discovered a spot above the rings where we would rapidly recharge our batteries, but doing it more than once would be too risky. For 0, we can go to log 207. That's pretty interesting. And I'm just going to, again, the same thing I was thinking the first time I encountered this is kind of reading in the context clues, deducing, says doing it more than once. So what that tells me is that this is kind of a one-shot where we can go here, we're going to generate some more energy, and but that'll be it. Next time we come back, maybe we won't be able to generate energy, maybe we'll have to do something risky like roll a danger die, don't know. But so kind of have a decision now. Looking at, we need to fly on to Keppler. It only costs us 1 energy. So we're currently at 2 energy. We spend 1 to go to Keppler. The question is potentially have a shot to look at Mermaid. I'm just going to play the way I've been playing all along, which is to try and do as much as possible without having to come back. because you never know when you're going to get back to a system. So sure, let's go ahead and check out the rings of the planet. 0 energy. We're going to go to log 207 and hopefully generate enough energy so we can check out Mermaid as well. All right, so not even a log entry associated with this. It's just gain 2 energy, move card A15 warning system from lander mods to the awaiting envelope. Then we can assign 3 crew members to gain another energy. It's interesting. Let me think about that and take a look at what our setup is right now. Okay, so here is our mod that we've picked up, the warning system. It's a utility mod. Crew members may spend a die to reroll 1 danger die once per roll. That is amazing. Just anytime, no matter how bad. You know, it doesn't guarantee anything, but it's definitely going to help with avoiding injuries. Another upgrade that Monica is going to be very happy to hear about. So we'll add that to the mix. And then in terms of, I think we are going to go ahead and contribute 3 crew members. You never know if we're going to need more energy where we're going. So Tabisa is our go-to for these kind of missions. She was mining for energy just last time. And then we'll bring in some other people, Tarif and Zoe, give them a chance to, don't know when they're going to make it onto a planet, so let's give them something to do. So the 3 of them are going to go ahead, gain us another energy. That brings us back up to 5 energy, and then we're going to spend 3 of it to find out more about the planet of Mermaid.
MP212 Mermaid Experiment.
The unusual spectrum of the Mermaid Star warranted further study. The light of the star didn't create favorable conditions for the development of complex life. It hindered observations of other planetary systems and stars. Perhaps its only saving grace was that it proved aesthetically pleasing to many crew members, who spent so many hours on the observation deck watching MP212, apparently mesmerized by its shifting glow, that Dr. Bell began to worry.
Only one experiment gave us some interesting results. Some of the minerals found on nearby objects reacted to the ever-changing wavelengths emitted by Mermaid in an unusual way. We passed the mineral to engineering so that they could include it in their devices. Oh, cool. So we've picked up a multi-spectral scanner. So let me grab that and see what that is. Wow, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Look at that structural lander mod. The other 3 we've only had are the +2s. This gives one +1 shields, +2 sensors, +1 agility. That is tremendous. With something like that, maybe we could potentially go back to Iota Pegasi and do that. But we are not going to do that this time. We are going to continue on as planned to check out the Keppler system. Okay, it only costs us 1 energy to fly over to Keppler, leaving us with 1 energy remaining. And here we have Keppler 831A. The surface of this planet is safe and uninteresting, a perfect place for training. Spend 2 energy to assign 2 rank 2 crew members to gain a success. Wow, that's expensive. Also, the description, something in this vast protoplanetary disk emits a signal reminiscent of the builder's Steelies. Reminiscent? So it's not actually? Well, let's find out. Keppler 831b, Steely cluster signal. There's our landing. Steely's signal comes from inside this asteroid field. The view is obscured and a strong EM field disrupts the scans. So that requires bridge upgrade B03, and we go to log 504. That's interesting. It does not mention a lander card. Okay, so it might be another mission like Iota Pegasi. Then we've got Keppler 831 Cultivation, a cluster of glass asteroid-sized containers filled with withered plants. Was it some strange space cultivation? For 2 energy, draw 1 strange flora discovery and move it to gathered discoveries. Okay, so having looked at those options, we've only got 1 energy left, so there really aren't any options at all. We're going to go ahead and check out that Steely cluster signal. We do have upgrade BO3, and so let's go to log 504. really wants us to confirm that we have the long-range detector array. So I'll just double check. Yep, we do have it. Okay, let's proceed. How many times are you going to ask? Yes, we have it.
We're approaching the signal cluster, but the asteroids still obscure the source.
I don't like that, Captain. Why would the builders leave that many steels in such a barren, lifeless place?
I know, Doctor, but we can't afford to ignore the signal. It could boost our research by decades, and the clock is ticking for all of Earth. I have everyone and everything on high alert. We should be okay.
Captain, we have a visual. The signal is coming from this moon-sized object.
Look at these bulbous parts, Captain. This looks too much like irrigator technology. We should...
It's powering up and launching interceptors.
Warning. Unidentified objects on collision course.
Begin evasive maneuvers. Let's get out of here.
Captain, more signatures incoming from starboard and port.
Missiles?
No. These look more like transport ships.
Battle stations! Battle stations! We're about to be boarded!
Oh boy. Your away team is about to take part in the defense of their ship. Warning, this will be a full-size exploration. Ensure you have plenty of time to play this surprise mission. I wasn't that surprised. But it's definitely surprised the first time I encountered this. So let's find out more.
This is your captain speaking. We're under a...
Despite the efforts of our security personnel,
ISS Vanguard has been breached by hostile forces. We have several fire teams defending critical locations on the decks. The bridge is knocked out. Repeat, the bridge is knocked out. We're doing what we can to repair it. All civilian personnel should evacuate to the forward part of the ship. All section operatives should report to their leaders for assignments. Stay strong. We will get through this.
All right, Captain. All right, the battle begins aboard ISS Vanguard. Before you begin preparations, please be aware that failure will be very costly. Use the best crew members you have. Expect to face dangerous threats and risk many injuries. You've had no time to arm yourself. Equipment won't be available at the start of the mission, but you will be able to find it later aboard ISS. In combat, there will be few opportunities to draw leads. Being able to relocate from one section of the ship to another quickly will help you coordinate the defense better. All right, so already thinking like recon, we want a high-level recon to be able to use cards to move people around, as well as people who have movement abilities. Also taking note of that equipment. The equipment is available, we just don't start with it. We have nowhere to evacuate to. This mission has special evac routes. Crew members will have to fight until they die, in which case they will be replaced with other crew members and the mission will continue. All right, so we have to do the following to begin the defense. Clean up, return all situation cards from the table and awaiting to possible. All right, so we're not going to have to deal with those. We lose all energy and command tokens. Okay. Move all six, and this, by the way, is knowing this was coming is why I had all this stuff I was able to do in the last ship phase, where I knew flying to Keppler I would not be able to do any of it, and it just didn't seem fair for me to make that decision with that kind of knowledge, which is why I rolled the die, let fate decide. It did send us over to Iota Pegasi. You know, we did have a casualty. That was not expected. But all right, so we move all success tokens to the bag, close and store the ship book, close and store the system maps book. So I'll take care of that in a moment. Prepare your team. So we are going to pick crew members from our hand of available crew members. So we already have spent a few crew members, doing... we had the ones who went on the last mission who were resting. We had Evelyn, who acted as a therapist. And then we had 3 people who we used to generate more energy. But they were all rank 1s. But they're not available at the moment. So, all right. So we're going to pick one from each section. And again, this was the first time I was playing. I took one from every section. You know, it was my daughter and I were playing. To that point, we'd only sent 2 people on a mission. This time we're like, yeah, let's send all 4 and play 2 sections each. So I've been, as I said, going into this campaign, I was going to play 4 every time anyway. Definitely would have done that regardless. All right, so players place the chosen crew members on their crew boards and fill the crew boards with section dice from their section compartment. So and this rule is repeated here that I mentioned before. You may never have more dice than your board slots allowed, and some of them require a particular rank. So if you don't have enough space, those dice go back into the box. They don't go into your spent pool. Each player places a starting number of charges, so we do get charges. Section cards. We do get to put together a deck of section cards as normal. And all the rules here is just summarizing what would be in the ship book. But it's helpful to go through it before this significant mission. We're going to draw section cards up to the hand limit. We do not draw a rank up card. Crew members who survive will rank up based on their performance in the scenario. Honestly, my initial inclination is we're just going to take rank 3s anyway, so who cares about a rank up? But we'll take a look at our options. Equipment. Do not take any equipment. Sudden nature of the attack caught you unprepared. You will have to gather equipment during the mission. Don't worry about record planet board. We aren't even coming from a planet. So that's just all things you normally have to set up. So, all right. So before we go to step 7, right, we do have to choose our crew. It is interesting to note here that any remaining available crew members and resting crew are all going to be available after the fact. So all those people we spent earlier, the people who went on their last mission, they're going to be in the pool of available crew to help out with the defensive vanguard. But let's come back to that. I'm going to take a break from this. And the first thing we're going to do now, I'm just going to clean up the board a bit, and I'm going to decide who's going on this mission based on the information we have so far. Okay, so took a bunch of time, went through. There's a lot of stuff to consider in choosing my crew, choosing what cards they're going to bring. I do have the Planetopedia set up. I did not set that up until after I had made my choices with the crew and cards. So, but let's go through that. In trying to decide who to bring, I was looking over, again, the log. Use the best crew members you have. That's not necessarily rank 3. As you'll see as I go through, I was also looking at special abilities, what cards they'd have access to. So that was definitely a consideration. Not going to be able to start with any equipment, but looks like we will be able to get equipment. So it's not like equipment is locked out to us. So another consideration. Being able to relocate from one section of the ship to another quickly will help coordinate the defense better. So that was something I really took to heart too in the selections I made. So let me run through it. We will start with Recon, where I have opted to downgrade a bit and not go with rank 3. I'm going with one of our superstars, Millie Peters, who is just rank 2. But she's got that amazing ability. When other people are assisting her, she can turn it to any face. Now, granted, we don't have the live streaming rig at this point. Maybe we can get it later, but it can still definitely coordinate her moving around with others. Just quickly going through her cards. Again, Recon. So, they have the ability to move and move people around. So definitely 2 copies of Uplifting Speech. 2 copies of Safe Path, and also feel like being able to deal with events, deal with time tracks could be pretty key. So 2 copies of Hideout. From there, really the main thing I was looking at this point is these are the 6 cards I want the most, and if I don't draw them, I want to be able to get to them. So looking for card draw. I mean, Focus, great card anyway, but I'm really looking at the bottom ability to draw 3 cards. Likewise, Second Chance. Okay, reroll green dice, very good. Also another way of drawing 3 cards. And in choosing the last 2, I decided to dip into rank 1 here for a couple of copies of Catch a Breath, which also lets me draw cards. And reroll red dice if need be, but again, I'm really going to have my eye on being able to fly through my deck. From security, we are going to go with a rank 3, superstar Cheryl Hayes. She's got that tremendous adaptability to change a die to any side. So that's, I'm sure, going to be really clutch. Just quickly going through her cards in the order I took them. She's rank 3. Stubborn is a card that all rank 3s have. Changing the dice face is really good, though she already has that ability. Even better is being able to sacrifice it to get, in her case, 2 charges back. Field surgery, just outright prevent an injury from happening to yourself or getting an injury die from somebody else. More likely we use it for the top. And because of that, I actually threw in a copy of Bodyguard so that she could potentially, if I have both those cards in my hand, she can use Bodyguard to take a wound from somebody else and then use Field Surgery to get rid of it. Grabbed 1 copy of Adrenaline Rush. Definitely going to be facing threats from what the text said. So there's an ability to just refresh 3 dice. Should really be able to help. Maybe we use the bottom ability, but much more likely the top one. Another rank 3, I grabbed Application of Force. Looking more at the bottom here, choose a threat in your sector, discard the time token from its card, or move the time token to any slot in the track without resolving its effect. So that could be really clutch. And just to make sure, that's pretty hard to play, so I did grab a copy of Safety Protocol, which, using a Vanguard symbol, lets you pay the cost of another card. And last but not least, a couple of copies of Military Training. Again, gives us that really good card draw or the ability to reroll any number of red dice. Both really good abilities. So that's going to be security. In science, we are going also with the rank 3. Nicholas Green, who is already... he's a veteran. He completed his side mission, really good at strength, which I think will help in this mission, but even more important than that is his reckless ability. Before or after an action, spend a charge and roll the 8 die to move to a connected sector. That is going to be huge in terms of mobility and being able to move around. So for card-wise, went with Searching for Questions, which is just amazing. Sacrifice this card to turn any number of accidents into successes. Not worried about the bottom ability at all, but that could really come in clutch. Also with him, 2 copies of Stubborn. Potentially, you know, I could, if I were to use both of those, he could get 9 charges total and just really be zipping around all over the place. Grabbed a copy of Safety Protocol to help me with dice combinations if necessary. Being able to get rid of accident dice, also good. A couple of copies of Focus, card draw, or in his case, he doesn't have the automatic convert, so if he's rushing off by himself, it'd be good to have ways of getting the results he needs. A couple of copies of Applied Knowledge, again for card draw to re-roll, and then just filled it out with a couple of copies of Respite to give that all-purpose re-roll. So that is science. Last but not least, in engineering, I decided to, again, go down to rank 2. A lot of the really good engineering cards key off mission equipment. I don't know if we're going to be getting any. What I really like, though, about Lena is her ability to spend a charge to take a chosen smaller personal equipment card from the armory. There's a lot of good options for things, either neutral equipment or engineering equipment, whether it's a small equipment when I need a clutch symbol in a test, or you know, potentially getting the card back that lets me have everyone refresh 3 dice, the stimulants. So just really like the flexibility that offers me, especially since I'm not getting any equipment otherwise until we find a way to discover it. Her cards in rank 2, I looked, there were a couple of rank 3s, probably Stubborn, the only one I would have brought. But since we don't have that, we will go ahead with Focus and more likely hold on to that for the top ability. A couple of copies of Safety Protocol. Again, her rank 2 reroll is Efficiency. She's got 5 blue dice, so that could be really good. A couple of copies of Respite for all-purpose rerolls. Did grab 1 copy of Dodge. Maybe we'll need it for the bottom to discard Danger die. And, you know, just in case, don't know what we're going to run into, but specialized tools, being able to help with that gathering could mean the difference somewhere. So we will see how it works out. That is the crew. All right, so now let's take a look at the planet board. So we got 2 discoveries, 11 and 8. I've put those out there. We have an enemy advantage box. If you are at 10, it starts with 2 markers. If you're at 10 or more, you got to go to log 147. That's certainly going to be bad. There is a special action to reduce the enemy advantage. Has to be performed in a special sector, which right now the only one on the board is right over here in Sector 5. So we'll see about that. That's a test that's going to lead us to 396. Definitely don't want to fail on that one with a double accident. There are 3 global conditions. We randomly shuffle them up and put them in a stack. When all 3 run through, something's going to happen. But to start, we have decompression. Hull damage causes the air to vent into space with the force of a hurricane. Each sector on the planet board additionally has the void icon, which is not a terrible thing, actually, as we'll get into as we kind of look at all the time tracks on this board, which we do not want to advance. So, you know, if that hits, then there is going to be an event which will prevent at least the time tracks from moving. Now, To travel, you just have to roll. You have to do a dice check and spend any die. But if you get an accident, going to have to roll, or don't roll. You don't have to roll any dice. We could just roll on the A table, and there is a red arrow moving up. We will then get to move. When this time track runs out, we're going to add one marker to the enemy advantage area. Discard this condition. So that's not going to be good, but not much we can do to stop it. Now, in sectors 4, 5, and 6, we have these events. Arrogator Assault. The bulbous, hulking armored suits are tearing through the ship, destroying everything in their path. It's got a couple biome icons. There is an action here, Fight the Assault. So you do have to add a danger die A to that check. If the Arrogator Warswarm is on the board, it's C instead of A. You got to advance 5 steps on this track using Strength, Protection, Xeno, or Tech. So any one of those, and a Vanguard, of course, too. And if you once you get through, you remove a marker from the enemy advantage slot, and you go to log 87. But you can see, and this one starts with the time track already advanced a couple of spots. You're going to have to add 2 markers to the enemy advantage when that runs out. So we're going to want to deal with these as quickly as humanly possible. We've got another one in Sector 5, which doesn't start with any track advancement, and finally one in Sector 4, which starts with 1 advancement. Now, there are some cards underneath here that we've pre-placed, which are going to be available to us, presumably, once we resolve these. So let's take a closer look at those, since that information is also available to us. All right, up in Sector 6, we've got the med bay. With the med bay secured, we have a way to take care of the wounded and even push some of the patients into action. So there's a couple actions there. You can discard an injury die or a more involved action, maybe getting crew members back. We'll have to see. Go to 364. Though, to be honest, feel like, don't know if we're going to have time to do that. But the option's there. Down in Sector 5, we've got the Armory. We've retaken the Armory. We can now equip ourselves better. So there's an option to be able to draw a section card, and you could also get chosen equipment from the Armory. So there is a way we could get stuff like the live stream rig or mission equipment. Again, we'll have to see how things go. While we're here, let's take a look at the mission as well. Our mission is beat back the assault. Arrogator strike teams are moving throughout the ship. We must stop them before they gain an unstoppable advantage. We have to remove all P233 cards. Those are those Arrogator assaults. Hint, the order in which the sectors is done can have a large impact on the mission. Sector 5 will let you rearm, Sector 6 will let you add more crew members, and Sector 4 will let you launch an interceptor. Completion, when you fulfill the objective, you will be asked to discard this mission. And printed in Sector 4 on the board, beneath that card, is just a log entry. So once we resolve that, we'll see what happens there. So let's go back and take a look at the other side of the board. All right, so we have our evac log. The crew of ISS Vanguard scrambles to their battle stations as alien forces assault their home. From officers and specialists to maintenance staff, everyone is ready to do their part as there is no place to retreat. We're all going to start here in the damaged bridge. The bridge suffered heavy damage from one of the first blasts, cutting it off and knocking out several key systems. So before we can do anything, we can't even move from here. We are going to have to repair the bridge. Do that with construction and tech or for blue results. However, accidents are going to cause a failure and make us add a marker to the enemy advantage slot and roll danger die A. So we are definitely not going to want any accidents in this case. Now from there, once we're able to move, we will be able to go to Sector 2 by spending a die, and that just says go to log 402, so we'll see what happens there. From Sector 2, we have 2 options. We can go up to Sector 7, we can go down to Sector 3. Notice both have the same thing, go to log 710. So that's going to be, you know, some kind of events that are continually moving things along. So we'll have to see what that entails. Once you go up there from Sector 7, you do have, it doesn't really show here, but from Sector 7, here I'll just show the main board. From Sector 7, you can get to either of these 2 spaces. From Sector 3, you can get here. Yeah, and then these are 4 and 6 are both dead ends where you have to go back the way you came. So, all right, so there's the board. Kind of looking over it all, given given that situation, think I'm probably going to start with Lena. And here's my thinking. I mean, she's got the tools for the job for sure. And she's got that conversion ability. What I'd really like to be able to do with Millie's turn is, I didn't draw any of them. I did draw 2 abilities to cancel events on her turn, which is great. But what I didn't draw any of the cards, the uplifting speech, but that would be really clutch if I could hurry my crew through. Again, we want to get to these sectors as fast as humanly possible. So though each of those cards, and I'll get into it if I manage to, if and when I manage to get my hands on them, basically requires a separate action. So if I can get everything to work the way I want it to, then on her turn, she's going to need to prepare using both actions. So we'll start with Lena, so that she can deal, because we're not going anywhere until we deal with the situation. Hopefully Lena can take care of this, and hopefully that will allow us to then move through the ship. All right, so all that said, let's get started. Lena will go first, and pretty straightforward. I think with her first action, we're going to try and do this test. Everybody's here to loan out cards. We definitely want to make sure we don't fail, so let me go through and figure out the best way to do this. All right, so you know what? I'm not even going to mess around here. I think this is a case of the right tool for the job, and Lena has it. Right off the bat, anytime, I'm going to have her spend a charge to take a chosen small or personal equipment card from the armory, and I am going to take the multi-tool. During a dice check, yada yada, we can add tech and construction, the exact symbols we need. So we can resolve this by using this equipment, don't even have to roll any dice. If there were a danger die, which there's not, I would have to re-roll that. But as it is, this way I can conserve all my dice, I can conserve all my cards. She's still got another charge for whatever other emergency situation comes up. She could even get the multi-tool back, because after I use it, it's getting returned to the armory. So that's it. Her first action, do a dice check, don't roll any dice, play the multi-tool, bang. We've completed it, and we can move on to log 188.
That should do it. Situation console working. All comms operational.
Good job, Alpha Team. We
Good
can
job,
now
Lena.
coordinate the defense throughout the ship. Now get out there and show these attackers what the people of Earth are made of.
All right. Replace the card in your sector with P230. Note, there is a special action printed in the... Okay, so this is another place, the bridge, where we could perform that action. Let's take a look at that card. The bridge is here. All right, so Vanguard Bridge, the captain and his XO have trouble staying on top of the situation. And yep, it does have that special symbol that would allow us to potentially perform the action here. How Lena has already performed a special action, so she would not be able to do it, and I don't think anybody else is going to be sticking around too long. So let's slot that in place. That was Lena's first action. I think for her second action, so I could have her stay here in the hopes that Millie's going to be able to move everybody, but there's no guarantee. Those cards could be at the bottom of the deck. And by the way, to my thinking, like, Lena does have second chance, draw 3 cards. So my hope is I'm going to be able to start. Remember, 6 of the cards in her deck let her draw cards. She can get a lot of assistance here. So my intent with her is to prepare and start digging through her deck to get those movement cards. But for Lena's standpoint, I am going to have her move. I'm just looking at the board here. The other thing too, and one of the other reasons I use the multi-tool is, again, I'm looking at these. I need strength, defense, Xeno, tech. I cannot mess around. I need to get those done as quickly as possible, which means if I can avoid it, I am not spending any dice with those symbols in this phase of the game. I want to save them to maximize my chances there. So that was another reason why I just went right with the multi-tool. I don't see anything with science on the board, so I think I will go ahead. Lena will spend her science die, and she will head over here, and we're going to go to log 402 and see what happens.
We're now reaching the main concourse. I see a lot of fire and smoke.
That's horrifying.
Several missiles have hit the hull near the nose of the ship. The automated systems are working at peak capacity to contain the damage.
There's a full-blown panic here. The crew is running around like headless chickens. I see no officer in charge.
Should we intervene? This is the main route to the bridge. It would be good to organize a defensive perimeter.
It's your call, Fire Team Alpha. Remember, your prime directive is to beat back the enemy assaults. If you try doing everything yourself, you may run out of time. In this mission, you will often stumble into critical situations on ISS Vanguard. You will be given a choice to either solve the crisis yourself, assign some of your available crew to do it, or ignore the crisis and ask the bridge crew to deal with it.
Okay. So every task you agree to perform yourself will set up a new POI card representing the situation somewhere on the board. If you do not attend to the situation, it will deteriorate. Trying too many things at once may cause you to fail at your main objective with severe consequences for your campaign. So every time you assign a crew member to solve a crisis, they may die. Depending on the situation, crew member rank, section, or even a converter symbol on their card will determine whether all assigned crew members live or die as a group. In general, the more and more experienced crew members you assign, the safer they are. Okay, every time you choose to ignore a crisis, Vanguard will receive a considerable penalty. Now it's time to make your first choice. All right, so all players discuss and choose one. If you cannot agree, then it looks like Cheryl is going to get to make the choice. So let's see. We can stop the panic and build the defenses ourselves. We can order the crew to stop the panic and build the defenses. Requires at least one available crew member card. Or we can ignore the panic and let someone else handle the situation. We're definitely not going to do the third option. And I think, you know, like I said, we want to focus on getting our crew out here to deal with those arrogator assaults. So I think we're going to choose the middle option, order your crew to stop the panic and build the defenses. All right, choose any number of available crew members from your section and other sections. If their players agree, these crew members may die fulfilling your orders. All right, so I'm going to take some time. I'm going to look over I got my stack of available crew here. I'm going to take a look and see who I am going to assign to this task. Okay, our first big test. We're looking for, like I said, I think we're looking for security, engineering, and construct. So we're going to send Vidas. He's both engineering, he's good at building. Vidas, you've spent a lot of time on and around the bridge. We know you can do it. And Inda Rao, help him out. She's security, she's also construct. I mean, I feel like the context clues here were pretty obvious. We picked them up. Maybe this is enough, but I think just to be safe, we're going to throw in a third engineer. We're going to throw in Evelyn. I don't think Rosina is going to come into play, but certainly being an engineer should hopefully help. So, and, you know, maybe we need at least 3 crew members. It's the one thing about this first test is you really don't know what you're getting into. Here we go. So place card P231, Panic Shroud in your sector. So I'll have to grab that. If the sum of your chosen crew members' rank is 3 or more, or it is, so okay. So we sent 3 people, it's a total of 3. We progress the track by 2. For every chosen crew member from security or engineering, we progress the track by 2. So that's going to be 3, so that's going to be 6 more, so 8 advancements. And for every construction, or it was protection, 2 more. So 10, 12. So we get to 12 progressions. This is going to have to be one heck of a track for us to not succeed. But let me grab card 231. We'll take a look. All right, so we are trying to stop the panic. The panic crowd, the main concourse is full of panicked crew, and this blocks off the area. Stop the panic. All right, so there are 5 steps on this track. Yeah, we did fine. We advanced at 12. So now we are just advancing a track. We're not resolving this. This is not a skill check. So even though, you know, remove 1 marker, we're not doing any of that. What we're doing is we're going back to the logbook. All right, we've progressed the track, so we will put a marker right all the way at the end and see if that gets resolved or what. We just put the marker there. So now let's go ahead and go to the logbook and proceed. All right, has the marker on the green track has reached the outcome? Oops. Yes, it has. All right, roll 3 injury dice for every chosen crew member. We've gone through this process before, so it's the same deal. If we roll 2 criticals or a critical and a regular, the crew member dies. So remember that little bit in the log about sending more crew will reduce the odds of death? Yeah, that wasn't right. I know some people have complained about that. I wish they would have cleaned up that text a little. It is a little misleading, but now we know anytime we do these, everybody's going to be at risk of death. So if they die, they're going to go on the casualty spots. After all the rolls are finished, place the surviving crew member in the resting crew. All right, I'm not going to close this yet. We actually have to go ahead and resolve these die rolls. Yikes. Let's start with poor Evelyn. All she's done to this point, but she got woken from torpor. She was immediately put to work as a therapist. And now, God, she's in danger of what? Being trampled by a crew that's freaking out? Come on, Evelyn. Fight through it. Fight through it. Live to fight another day. Okay, we got 1 blood drop symbol, not a critical, so we're good. Evelyn has survived. Inda. All right, Inda, you are the queen of Vanguard's production. Look, at some point our tech level is going to go up. We are going to need you to work on those construction projects. You have contributed to 4 construction projects more than anybody else. That's why we chose you to build this barrier. So, come on. Don't get sniped by an arrogator while you're building the barrier. Okay, there's that bad blood drop, but there's only 1. We did not get another blood drop to go with it. Inda has survived. Okay, Vidas. Who's going to scan for tiny little life forms if you're not here? You've done it so many times. You've taught others how to do it. You are the pro. You have a station on the bridge. Come on. Make the right calculations. No, Vidas. He didn't make it. And this is just the beginning. All right. Well, 2 out of 3 at least survived. Vidas, we will honor you. We will find a place on the memory wall.
All routes to the bridge are now blocked and crewed with armed volunteers. It won't stop arrogators forever, but at least the bridge is safer now.
Good work, Fireteam Alpha. Now we can...
What's that? All right, gain a success, and we drop down card P232. All right, so here's the new card. We have Defensive Perimeter. The main road to the bridge is now secured. When rolling any dice in this sector, you may re-roll any number of dice, including the danger and injury dice, once. Fascinating. All right, we can scavenge the main deck to get a small equipment card from the armory and place it next to your crew board. We can also draw a sector card, and this feels like a trap. I don't feel like we have time to do this. All right.
This is your captain speaking. We're now speeding away from the enemy fleet using the full throttle of our engines. Unfortunately, one of the enemy cruisers was able to catch up with us, and its missiles hit the bridge. We have many casualties, but we're still operational. Beware of sudden impacts in your area. If you have no full emergency suit, find a safe, pressurized space and stay there.
Yikes. All right, so we have to place a card 241 in Sector 8. Open the ship book at page 3. Check if card B10 is there. That's the cannon. We do have that. Progress the green track on card 241, the Arrogator Cruiser, in Sector B by 2. All right, so that's something. Place the bombardment threat card in the designated slot above the planet board. Place the time token in the first slot of the bombardment threat card time track, but do not resolve it. Optional mission 103. All right, let me get all that stuff set up. That's a lot to go through. The Arrogator Cruiser. The cruiser keeps up pace with the ISS Vanguard, pounding us with missiles. So this is in Sector 8. There is a dogfight that, if we can figure out a way to get out there, presumably we have to clear the launch bay in Sector 4 before we can deal with this. But we do, at least because of our Vindicator cannon, start it 2 tracks up. And what exactly are they doing while we're dealing with this? Let's take a look at the bombardment threat. So it's got salve, salve, and then reload. On a salve, and we're not going to do the first one, it's going to start in Sector 8. Each crew member in the sector with bombardment has to spend 3 dice or roll danger die C, then place the bombardment in the sector 1 number higher. From 8, it's going to move back to 1. On a reload, the bombardment moves 1 sector higher, but it doesn't fire. So it's going to fire, and then reload before resetting that track. Okay, so we're going to want to try and stay ahead of that as it just progressively shoots through the ship. Oh, and one other thing, we got optional mission, The Last Starfighter. Nice. M103, the Arrogator missile cruiser catches up with the Vanguard and pounds us with a merciless barrage. We have no ships left to counter it, save for our landers. Ooh. Objective, destroy the Arrogator cruiser in Sector 8. Hint, to reach the cruiser, you need to clear the hangar in Sector 4 and launch a lander from there. Okay, well that ends a very active first turn of the game. For Lena, we'll move this over here. Go ahead and flip the turn available and see if there is an event. All right, corrosive fumes. I mean, you'd think maybe. But no, she's actually in the defensive perimeter, which does have... from the global condition, it's got the void icon, but that's not on the card. So all the time tracks are going to progress 1, which means the bombardment. All right, so it's going to bombard first, and then it's going to move. So fortunately, they don't get hit yet, but yeah, we definitely need to get everybody out of there. Let me throw down a couple more time tokens. We're going to need 1 on our global condition, and we are going to need 1 on this Arrogator assault, and that one's already 1 step away. All right, that may be unavoidable, but let's take a look. All right, Millie got a lot of ideas for this turn. Like I said, I think our goal is to get everybody out of here, especially with the bombardment taking place. So we're going to do a prepare action. We're going to dig through our deck, hopefully find the card we need. It means we're going to need a bunch of symbols probably. So let me figure out who's going to contribute what to this deck. All right, so what I'm looking at here is I'm going to be looking to play Second Chance, which I'm going to draw 3 cards, which I'm going to need either a strength or a scouting, but I'm also going to need the scouting to play to give that uplifting speech. So I'm going to have Millie throw in a basic, I'm going to say I'm going to have Nicholas throw in a basic green die to assist that Millie can potentially use her convert ability to get the strength symbol we need. I'm also rolling a couple of scouting dice, so that may be a possibility as well. And then in order to play the uplifting speech, I'm going to need, if I draw it, I'm going to need a scouting, and I'm also going to need a basic. And then let's 1 extra die in case I don't draw it. I probably will draw some card draw. And I have a bunch of rerolls available. I, of course, have Millie's ability if I need to convert. I'm not going to throw in the Vanguard in yet. Again, what I'm trying to do is have everybody hold on to the cards that they could potentially need to do these critically important checks. So I think I can manage it with this. Let's see how things work out. All right, so we'll start with Nicholas's assist. This is, again, we're doing a prepare action. All right, perfect. That's what I needed. So now let's see what Cheryl can do. All right, off to a very good start. And now time for Millie. Okay, well, couldn't ask for anything better than that. Probably, hopefully even more than we need. But, you know, definitely don't want to take any chances at this point. So let's go ahead. I mean, we're probably not going to need, but yeah, let's go ahead and use the green conversion. You know what? No, we'll go ahead and we will spend the die that we got from Cheryl to go ahead and play Second Chance and draw 3 cards. All right, so we got 2 copies of Hideout, and we have drawn Safe Path. No, 2 copies of Uplifting Speech. All right, so that is exactly... We were just looking for 1, but we managed to get 2. So that's actually going to be really good. Because what we're going to do, I think, not much of a choice here. We have to discard down to 3 immediately. So I'm going to discard Hideout and Safe Path. I want to hold on to both Uplifting Speeches. So those will be discarded. I will then spend... Let's see, I could move the global track back, but no, I think it's more important to just not draw an event this turn. Probably the same effect since the global track is only advanced once. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play Uplifting Speech. So, you know, Millie's like looking at the monitor. She sees like all the danger coming in, and she's just like, come on, everybody, we can do this. We can get out of here. Let's go. Let's go. And she's ushering them through, inspiring them to race on deeper into the ship to face whatever threats they run across. So we go ahead and spend those dice. That one going back to Nicholas, that going back to Millie. All right, so this is now, and just to point, the reason I did this as part of a prepare action and not something else, just to show you the card again, so I can explain it. Move any number of crew members from your sector to a connected sector or from a connected sector to your sector. So obviously we're going to move all 3 of us from our sector to a connected sector, ignoring the path icons. Immediately go to the spend dice check of this dice check. So we are currently in step 5, which is dice combinations. This is going to bump us right up to step 9. So if we were in the middle of some other skill test or whatnot, it would be nullified. We would skip over the other steps. So best to do this as part of a prepare action. So we'll go ahead and play Uplifting Speech. We'll move everybody over. That is the first half of the prepare action. The second half, we'll go ahead and draw a card. Oops, because we do... Yeah, I accidentally discarded an extra one of those. So yeah, we're down to 2 cards in hand, so let's go ahead and draw back up to 3. All right, catch your breath, re-roll a red die, or draw 2 cards. Very good. All right, so that completes Millie's first action. Now, she's got her second action. So I think we're going to keep everybody moving. She's just, you know, she's still saying, hey, don't worry about whatever's ahead. I know you can all handle it. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to do another dice check. This time we've got the card we need. So we just need to make sure we get the symbols we need. So I'm just going to have Nicholas, again, we want to hang on to all of those dice that we know we're going to need for these checks. So he can go ahead and do a scouting. And we're also going to need a basic. So let me take a look over and see what the best strategy there is. All right, I want to conserve dice as much as I can here, so I'm just going... Millie's not going to roll any dice. We're going to have Nicholas give her a recon, a scouting symbol, and Lena is going to loan a basic red because I don't think... I'm probably going to be sending off Nicholas by himself. He's be able to jet ahead with his special ability, so nobody else has a red convert icon. So let me go ahead, and plus I have reroll red, so let me go ahead. We'll start by rolling Lena's die. And again, I got Millie's charges if I need them. Okay, perfect. And now I just need a scouting symbol. So, and I got it. Okay, and I definitely would have used Millie's charge there if I needed to. Glad I didn't have to. Okay, so now I am going to play Uplifting Speech. But this is interesting. So now I have to make a choice. I'm not going to move everybody in the same direction. Here's what I'm thinking. We have that one track that's in danger. That could go... It's not going to go off this turn because I'm going to play... Millie's not going to draw an event. So we're going to use Hideout to kind of stall there. That is going to give Cheryl an opportunity to move over there and deal with it. So think what I'm going to do, and then Nicholas can use his ability to fly down to the other one, and then hopefully we'll have enough time to get somebody over here. So let me go ahead. Millie is going to take herself, Cheryl, and Lena, and we're going to move into Sector 7. Oop, Cheryl. stays behind. We're going to move into Sector 7, which is going to trigger log 710. So let's take a look at that. All right, log 710. Let's see what happens. All right, we have to roll a d10 and check the result. So let's see what happens. All right, that's a 5.
Be careful, team. We're detecting a huge oxygen leak near your location. One of the cargo bays must have been damaged.
Can't you just close the bulkheads around the leak?
Most of the bulkheads are destroyed. We must locate and repair the damage before too much oxygen vents into space.
As if we didn't have enough on our hands.
All right, so let's see. Oxygen leak, cargo base has been damaged. We must locate and repair the damage. Okay. All right, so yeah, we have to decide we can do it ourselves. Don't want to deal with that. We can order crew members to repair the damage. Yeah, I think that's the direction. We're certainly not going to ignore it. So we're going to order crew members to repair the damage. All right, so now we have to choose a number of available crew members. All right, what do we know? We have to locate it. So maybe scouting, recon, and repair it. Engineering, construction. So I think that's what I'm thinking, but let me look through my crew and see who's available. All right, so I'm actually out of people with repair ability. So here's what we're going to do. As an engineer, we're going to send in Terry Isaac. He's going to protect. I don't know if that's going to be the right ability, but definitely need an engineer here. He's rank 2. In case it is scouting, I'm going to send in Yut Nimawan. And then finally, let's make sure we get some recon in there. And maybe it's a technology thing we'll throw into Bisa. And maybe that's overkill. But since I don't have like the one symbol I feel like I'm sure of, just want to make sure. So let's take a look back at the app and see how we did. All right, so we're going to need card 240. All right, for every crew member from the engineering section, we're going to, okay, so only one section counted. If the rank is 3 or more progressed by 2, we got that. Wow, okay, we were actually looking for text, so we kind of lucked into that. That progresses it by 2. So let me grab card 240 and let's take a look. All right, so here's the damaged cargo hold. It was a bit of overkill. We only needed to hit on 2 of the things. We hit on 3 of them. So we did manage to resolve this. So let's proceed. Has the number on the green track reached the outcome? Yes. Sorry, going back to the out. All right, so now, all right, we got to see if our crew can survive. They had to dealing with this issue in the oxygen leak. It could have been an explosion. It could have had to be some zero-G operations where they didn't have a suit, weren't able to breathe. I don't know. But let's start with Yut Nimawan and see how he's going to fare in this check. All right, so Yut is no stranger to danger. He was just on that last away mission where unfortunately Jesse didn't make it and they managed to abort just in time. Will he survive this treacherous assignment? No. Oh, Yut. All right. Unfortunately, Yut gave his life in sacrifice to save this. He didn't even need to be there to complete this. All right, come on, Tabisa. We need you for a future mission. All right, we've got those results. So Tabisa definitely frazzled, a little out of her mind, a little injured, but she survives. All right, last but not least, come on, Terry. You're the senior crew here, having just gone through training and being promoted. We need you. We need you. And I'd say Terry is bloodied up, taking a lot of damage. The engineer, he's getting his hands in there. He's wrestling with the equipment. It's flying, tubes flying all over the places. He's trying to seal it back into place. Banged up, bruised, but he survives. So, all right. So, once again, 2 out of 3. So, unfortunately, Yut will remember you on the memory wall. The rest have completed it, at least. Let's go back to the app and continue. All right, so we are now putting in card 002. All right, we'll take a look at a moment of calm. No hazards detected, so that's going to give us a reprieve as people move through this section, but it does have a time track, so eventually it's going to go away, and then when we come back, if we come back this way, something else probably is going to happen. It's probably not going to be good. So, all right, we do gain a success. Let's get that on the board. Just check the app to make sure there's nothing else. Nope. All right, so let me update things, and then we'll pick up where we left off. Okay, so if you remember, this is all in the middle of a prepare action. So we had done the first part, which was the dice checks. Now let's finish off the prepare action. Millie is going to draw a card. And this was her second action. So immediately after this action, she's going to go ahead and play hideout. Before or after an action, end your turn. Do not draw an event card. So, okay. So she's done. Fortunately, at least for once, no time tracks are going to advance. That brings us to Cheryl's turn. So, situation we're looking at now is things are pretty dire over here. With the Arrogator Assault, question is, can Cheryl do it single-handedly? She's got to make her way over there, then she's got to drum up 5 successes. Fortunately, she's got a lot of cards in hand. She's got that awesome ability to spend charges to get the result she needs. So I think she's going to be able to do it. But let me do some planning and see what dice I'm going to spend. All right, so first and foremost, for her first action, Cheryl is going to need to move there. In order to do that, we're going to have to make a dice check. And if there's an accident, roll the A die. So she's going to go ahead and roll her, and I've kind of already planned out and prepared, but she's going to go ahead and roll her biology die. Doesn't look like, actually, you know what, we'll hold on to that because she's going to end up in the med bay. So maybe just in case, we will roll her red gathering die. All right, and it is an accident. So now, as a result, I do have to roll danger die A. She'll still get to move. All right, and I have to spend a die. So that is not great. But it is what it is. Okay, so having completed that, boy, you know, maybe I should have re-rolled that red. All right, but let's move on. She is now dealing with the Arrogator Assault. I got 6 dice here. You know, I've got technology, strength, protection. Blue, she can convert to protection. Of course, the Vanguard. All right. I'll be able to get this. The question is just how many resources am I going to have to spend? So let's see. All right, our first stand-up dice roll. Let's go. Come on, Cheryl. You can take out those Arrogators all by yourself. All right, so, oof. All right, well, I was going to say not without penalty, but we do have options. So let's start kind of taking out with success, 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 success. That is, as it stands right now, 4 of the 5 successes we need. She does stand to take a wound. Fortunately, we're in a position to do something about that. We need 1 more success. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here, didn't even have to think that long about it. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to spend a charge during a dice check to change 1 die to the chosen side. So I'm going to spend a charge. I am going to turn that single Vanguard into a double Vanguard. So that right there is going to give me what I need. Then I'm going to spend these 2 basic dice to play Stubborn, which, again, sacrifices card to gain your starting number of charges. So she's going to go up to 2 charges. That's removed from the game. But now she's at 3 charges instead of 2, which is very nice. Then I'm going to go ahead and play Field Surgery. When you would gain an injury, do not gate that injury and the injury die. So that is going to nullify the wound I would have otherwise taken from the danger die. So, heck of a job. We'll spend these 5 successes or symbols that we need to go ahead and advance the Arrogator Assault track 5 times. We are going to remove one marker from the enemy advantage slot, so that drops down to 1. That's good. And then going to go to log 87. All right, discard the P233 from your sector. Excellent. That is going to reveal the med bay. Okay. Are there no more P233 cards anywhere on the board? No, there's 2 more, but we'll try and take them out as quick as we can. So, no, there are no more. Is your crew member now standing in a sector with a real log number? No. All right, so that is the end of it. So Cheryl's first action was to move. Her second action was this incredibly heroic feat of taking out the arrogators. So that being the end of her turn, we are going to draw an event. All right, here we go. Secret tunnels on the Vanguard? I think not. All right, all time tracks are going to progress. So first up, let's do our arrogator assaults, and that one's getting down there. Global condition advances. We're going to get one advancement over here on a moment of calm. And last but not least, the bombardment is going to reset. So it's going to move, but it's not going to fire. And that will give an opportunity on Nicholas's turn for him to get out of there. And so let's take a look at Nicholas's turn. And boy, is he going to be able to do what Cheryl did? I hope so, because I don't know who else is going to take care of this. But let's take a moment to look it over and figure it out. All right, this is going to be pretty tricky, but let's see if we can make this work. So starting off, these are the dice we're setting aside for Nicholas. So starting off, before he takes his first action, he's going to go ahead and spend a charge and roll the A die to move. So let's hope. We actually, I'd almost rather get wounded than take a 1 result, which seems crazy, but I need as many dice as I can in this upcoming check. All right. Whew. Awesome. Blank. Nothing happens. He is going to move, get away from that bombardment. He is going to have to go down this way, which means we're going to have to go down here, which means we are going to have to once again resolve 7-10. So I think we can already anticipate we're going to have to roll a 10-sided die. So let's do that first. That's a 1 result. So now let's go over to the app and see what that leads to. All right, well, we've gotten the 2 most likely results here, the 4-5 and the 1-2.
After action report 7-5D.
The shortest route to our destination led through the torpor chambers, a long section of the ship filled with small pods where the remaining 5,000 of Vanguard's crew members dreamt, submerged in a quiet drug-induced slumber. Arrogator-heavy infantry was there, in their bulbous, heavy suits, their thick mechanical arms ripping the pods apart.
Oh, no.
It was the first time I'd seen them up close. They moved in methodical, machine-like fashion. I immediately began to doubt whether these were living creatures or just another type of automated war machine this aggressive race hides behind. The human victims who survived being ripped out of their chambers shivered on the ground, dying from the shock of sudden awakening. We had to do something.
My God. Okay. Well, we could stop the arrogators from destroying the pods. Nicholas does not have time for that, but there are crew members around, so as Nicholas arrives on this scene, they're just frozen in fear, the ones who were already up and ready for action, the crew, and Nicholas just kind of snaps them out of it. Come on, you need to stop them, and he rallies them. And all right, we're going to order the crew to protect the pods. Let's put together a team. All right, what are we looking at here? I mean, security for sure, probably some, maybe biology having to do with the pods, maybe science, maybe engineering. Boy, there's a lot of options. Let me give it some thought, which direction we might want to go. Okay, so I do have one really good fit here, I think. I feel pretty good about Reeve sending in. He's both security and he's biology, but I want to make sure every other check we've done so far, we're looking for rank 3 or higher. So let's get in a rank 2, and we got some science in case that's needed from the science section. Probably not. I would send an engineer. We're down to only 2 engineers left. So, but Manish does also have strength, which I think we're going to need to fight these people off to get to the pods. So, all right. I think that should be good. Hopefully, let's find out. All right, 238 torpor chambers. Some of your chosen ranks is 2 or more. Great. Okay, so we did need 2 people in there for every chosen crew member. Security or recon. All right, we did get security. I was right about that with Reeves, so we're up to 4 for every crew member. There we go. Strength, protection, and biology. So that's 4 more, so that's a total of 8. So let's take a look at card 238 and see. I mean, I think that's going to be enough based on what we've seen so far. Here we go. We are chasing off the arrogators. Yes, we only needed 4. So we have chased off the arrogators. We have saved everyone else in the torpor chambers. So let's go back to the app. Has the green marker reached the outcome? Yes. All right. So now we have to see if they manage to survive. So come on, Reeve. Come on, Manish. Reeve, a relatively recent new arrival to the Vanguard, really showed his mettle in this task here. Didn't flinch, ran headlong into danger, repaired what he needed to while also fighting and chasing off the arrogators. And not gonna lie, he was a bit panicked and a little worried and did take some scrapes, but he survives. Whew. Okay, so that brings us to Manish. All right, Manish, I mean, we've seen him in action. Very strong, very powerful. Yeah, he's in science. He could just as easily be in security. Let's see how he fared fighting off the arrogators. Okay, again, a little bit rattled, a bit more bloodied, but he survives. Whew. Okay, good job, Reeve and Manish, as we put them over here. And that deals with that. We go back to the app. Having done that, we do gain another success, so that's good news. And we get to put a P002 down here. Okay, so that was all before Nicholas's first action. He spent a charge, so now he was going to take his action. I still want to try and hold on to all of his dice he can, so I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to roll a danger die, right? So we're doing the global condition dice check. I can roll 0 dice. I'm going to roll 0 dice. It means I'm automatically going to hit the red result, which is to roll a danger die. So, but then the red arrow will push it up, and I will get to move. So let's go ahead and hope that we get to keep all of our dice, because that's the biggest concern right now. Yes. Okay. Nicholas is seeking danger and skirting past it. He is focused, but at the same time, there's like bulkheads falling down, and he's just dodging out of the way, making his way. He has made it to the launch bay where arrogators are just ripping things apart and threatening to swarm and overtake. So I'm just going to go in whole hog. Guess there's a risk. Maybe I hold 1 die back. Could I go 3 for 3? All right, let me take a quick moment to think before I commit 8 dice to this check. Maybe I can just do it in 7. Okay, I am going to go ahead and roll everything. All 8 dice that he's got available. Here's my reasoning. If I do roll a 1, I mean, I could just sacrifice a die. It makes more sense to exert. I will exert so that I then have a die to spend, but I don't have to do that right away. I have an opportunity to play dice combinations. I've got 2 stubborns of focus. I'm going to potentially be funneling a lot of dice into my spent pool so that when I do exert, if I'm not getting 4 dice back, maybe I'm getting 5 dice back, I should still be in a good position. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to roll all the dice. Again, we don't want this to get to the end track. Avoid it if we can. So let's go all in. Come on, Nicholas. Let's see what you got. I mean, I see a lot of Vanguards. I do see that we're going to have to spend a die, so that's a consideration. But right off the bat, here's what I'm seeing. I am seeing the 5 successes we need. So, wow. So, however this works out, we are, right, because, yeah, he's got both the red and blue conversion abilities. So, however this works out, we are going to be able, to chase off the arrogators. What I want to do now is just figure out, take a look at my cards and see if I want to be able to do any dice combinations and what would be involved in getting there. All right, so this is going to work out perfect. Here's what I'm going to do, because I realized that one of the dice that missed was the Vanguard die. And yeah, so what I'm going to have to do is, I can't do it with focus. I'm going to have to do it with stubborn, which is the top part. Move 2 dice from the roll pool to the owner's spent pool to turn 1 other die to a result with brackets. So I'm going to take these 2 accidents, get them out of here. They go to his spent pool. That is going to, oops, sorry. No, keep the accidents. All right, I'm going to take these 2, move them here. I'm going to then turn this die to the double Vanguard, which is one of the bracket results. So that is me playing stubborn. Now, I have the ability, I need 2 matching symbols to play my other stubborn for the bottom part, right? Let me show you that again. I had 2 copies in my hand. Sacrifice this card to gain your starting number of charges. This may exceed your starting number. So I'm going to sacrifice that card by spending this Vanguard die. Again, I've talked about how if you have a double Vanguard, you can't use it on 2 different things, but you can use it to pay for one thing. I'm applying the 2 symbols and I'm spending the die. That's all part of the action. So that allows me to gain back 3 charges. So now Nicholas is going to be able to fly around all over the place. All right, we are still in step 5. We're done with step 5. Now we're going to move to step 6, where we have to resolve injury and danger dice. So this is the point. I still can't touch any of these dice. They're not in my roll pool. They're not in my spend pool. Well, they're in my roll pool, but you can't exert from your roll pool. Wouldn't want to anyway. I am going to have to sacrifice one of these dice. I think, yeah, the basic die are actually pretty useful. So I'm going to lose the bio die. That's going to let me refresh the other 4 dice. And then I just need to decide, yeah, I'll spend the green basic die. Keep my other options open. Right, I'm spending that. I'm spending the green die to pay for the 1 result on the A table. Then I'm going to spend these 5 dice to advance the track 5 times. That is going to, as we know, is going to get rid of the Arrogator Assault. It's going to remove an enemy advantage. We're going to go to log 87 again, so I'll just go through the process just in case. You never know if there's, since I'm not using the logbook, there might have been a checkbox, so don't make any assumptions. Let's do the log. Discard from the sector. The answer is no. There are more available on the board. Yes. All right, so we have to resolve the log. The log is 599.
The hangar is clear. We've beat back the enemy. The landers seem intact.
Good. Listen carefully, Alpha. This Arrogator ship is tearing us to shreds. We need to do something about it.
You mean you want us to take off and fight an alien cruiser?
The science section concluded it has no close-quarter combat capabilities, and there are no enemy fighters to support it.
Oh boy.
We'll see what we can do, but fueling and arming the ship will take some time.
Actually, we could do something, even without the weapons or full tanks.
I don't like where this is going.
Okay, so we can begin launch preparations. This will make completing your primary mission on time harder. Don't necessarily want to do that. We would put the hangar in our sector. The other option is order crew members to ram the enemy cruiser. Requires at least 1 available crew member. Choose any number of available crew members from your section and other sections of the players agree. These crew members will die fulfilling your orders, and the lander chosen to fill this task will be destroyed. We're definitely not going to ignore the enemy cruiser. Everyone's doing their part. think Nicholas, who is a veteran, used to be a soldier. He's not afraid to make the tough call. But he's looking for volunteers. So the question is, who's going to step up? There's a smattering of crew around the hangar and looking to him for leadership. And it's kind of a tense silence holds as we wonder, will anybody step forward to volunteer? Or is Nicholas going to have to order crew members to their deaths? All right. They will die. All right, so I'm going to take a moment to give the crew an opportunity to see if they want to step up. All right. After a very long, tense silence, a crew member steps forward. And it's not a rookie. Camille Najjar, who feels somebody needs to be able to pilot this thing. He's got scouting ability. He's security. Anybody else? Camille is not going to go alone. In fact, a senior officer steps forward. Her job has always been to try and keep people safe. Now, it's the crew of the Vanguard that she leaves behind, as Monica, who is recon, rank 3, is going to lead this mission from which almost certainly will not return. As for the lander, well, we want some bulk. It hasn't been used for much else, but this is the moment, perhaps, for the Pelican to shine. So Monica and Camille say some very short and quick, tearful goodbyes to the crew they've served with. They board the Pelican. And let's see what happens. Okay, so we're going to place card 234 in our sector. If not there, that's the hangar. We'll take a look at that in a moment. All right, we have chosen the Pelican. It's now damaged. If the sum of the ranks of your chosen crew members is 4 or more, it is. So we'll get to progress the track by 2. We had already progressed it true. So now, that track in Sector 8, we'll only need 1 more. For every security or recon, we got it. So maybe overkill. For every chosen crew member, we didn't choose right there, but it's okay because we sent some veteran crew members. They've done it. The marker on the green track has reached the outcome. Your chosen crew members reached their objective and died. Monica and Camille, we salute you. No one will ever forget your names. You will have a permanent spot on the memory wall. All right. And we now have to remove the Pelican from the game. We do get to, well, we would remove a token from the enemy advantage, but there are none there. How about that? Remove the bombardment threat. So we've taken that out of commission. We discard the Arrogator Cruiser. We discard the optional mission, and we gain a success. Hint, the field of debris left by the exploding cruiser might yield some interesting discoveries if you get a chance to search it. Well, that remains to be seen. All right, here's the hangar. The hangar is ours. We can now launch an interceptor to conquer the enemy warship. So there's an action to arm and launch the lander. We just need tech or construction, and we definitely don't want to fail that. And then we see what happens. So let's put that in Sector 4. And now that brings us to the end of a very dramatic turn for Nicholas. And let's see if there's an event. Okay. Potentially a malfunction. Yes. Well, all right. Time tracks do not advance. Almost kind of wish they did. But we have an option. We can either lose the supplies or roll the G die. I think we're just going to lose a supply. We haven't even used one yet. They would have been on 8. They're down to 7. I don't know how much time we're going to have to rest. I feel like exerting is going to happen much more. Yeah, I was just kind of thinking if time tracks had advanced, then this would have put a marker on. It does give us an extra turn to do this, so maybe this works to our benefit. All right. That is the end of the round. So now I have to decide who's going to kick off the next round. And I don't think I have to think too hard. We do have one more area to deal with. And in order to get there, well, yeah. I mean, Nicholas could get there pretty quickly. But Lena and Millie are also in a chance. And Lena could head there and start the check. She doesn't need to complete it by herself. We have time for Millie to then come in because of that event we drew. So we do have time for Millie to come in, and then certainly with Millie's ability, she could get some assistance. Speaking of abilities, I just quickly touch on, we do have some specials, missions that I'm not even really giving much thought to. Lena has to send her roll pool 8 dice with strength. That's not going to happen. So I'm not even going to think about that. Of course, Cheryl, she's a similar ability, but xenology, she doesn't even have xenology dice. Millie's got an interesting one, which might be possible. When you perform or assist in a dice check during which at least 13 dice are rolled. Now, in order for that to happen, Millie would have to keep all 10 of her dice, so she wouldn't be able to exert or sacrifice any. Then everybody would have to assist. Don't know if that's going to happen. It's not a priority this game, that's for sure. But interesting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to keep the start player where it is. We're going to kick things off with Lena, who just needs to spend a die. And let me take a moment to kind of figure out how the two of them are going to combine to deal with this last Arrogator assault. All right, so I think we are going to start with Lena. And really just the question I'm asking is, do I go for broke? I think actually what I'm going to do is I think I am going to go for it, but what I'm going to do is I am going to roll a die to move her. So I'm not going to go crazy. Let's just not get an accident. All right, well, Vanguard, that'll work. So she is going to move down over to the Arrogator Assault. And then here I am going to go for it. I'm just going to roll everything. If I have to sacrifice a die, I have to sacrifice a die. But, I have multiple focuses. Although I think I'll only be able to play one of those, but the other I could use to draw 3 cards. I got a lot of options. She doesn't have to finish this. And, there's a small part of me that's like, well, maybe I don't want her to finish it because when this time track runs out, we're going to put another token on here. But you know what? Let's get it done. Okay. So, there we go. All right, and we have a cock danger die, so I'm going to re-roll that. I'm going to take all the rest of this out of here before I take a look at it. All right, let's re-roll the danger die. All right, so she is potentially going to take a wound, but she does have ways of mitigating that. Let's start off and see how she's looking in terms of advancing the track. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We got 3 of the 5 successes we need. We are going to go ahead and play a focus. And I am going to move 2 dice. It's actually going to be this gathering die. I'm going to move these 2 dice to turn. At this point, doesn't matter. I will turn the red die into a Vanguard. So that's going to give me 4 successes. I will then spend her last charge to gain the portable probe. Show you that. That's going to give me a gathering symbol and a protect. So the protect is going to go towards completing that. That's the 5 successes we need. The gathering I'm going to use to play specialized tools, which will let me refresh 2 blue dice. So let me get that one back. Let me get, maybe we'll end up needing science. So I'll get science back. Then finally, I am going to play focus using, for the bottom, basic symbol, using this last green die to draw 3 cards and replenish our hand. Okay, and did not get anything. Well, I did get discard 1 danger die from your roll pool, which would be great if I could do it, and maybe I should have done the stuff in a different order. I'm not sure it would have made a difference, but no, because I had to play the cards. I would have had to discard them. So unfortunately, I am going to take the wound. Let's see. I think I'm going to put that in the green column. She is rank 2. If I put it in either of the other columns, that would limit the number of dice I could get back. Finally, we'll spend these 4 plus the floating symbol from the portable probe, and that's going to advance this track 5 times. And once again, we'll just go through the process. There's no marker to remove. We're at -2. I just, in my own mind, keeping track of it that way. Let's go to 87. Discard card from your sector. Great. That is going to reveal the armory. Are there no more 233 cards anywhere on their board? Yes. Okay.
This is Fire Team Alpha. The decks are clear. I repeat, the decks are clear. We've won.
Bridge, what's going on there?
What are the orders?
Is the radio working? Maybe they can't.
A diversion! The bridge was not their main target. As we fought them off, other groups took position around the Vanguard's core. They assaulted from all sides. Our security team there won't hold long. Captain Wayman is leading the relief force. If you hear this, head toward the core.
The core. That's the one part of the ship we cannot repair or replace.
They must know that. Come on, let's keep moving.
Okay, so in Sector 2, we're going to get 242. So we'll grab that and show that up in a sec. Discard mission card M101. Find mission card M102, place it next to the planet board and read its text. If your crew member is now standing in a sector with a revealed log number, reveal the log. All right, so that's success number 5 for us. Let's take a look at 242. We have discovered Vanguard's core. This part of the ship wasn't made by humans, and it cannot be repaired or replaced. We have to defend the core, and this looks like a rough action. We have to roll danger die C to kick that off. We have to progress 5 times. In order to progress it, we need strength, protect, and xenology all together. We got to do that. So 15 symbols. But we are going to gain 2 successes. Any failure is going to make us go to log 106. Also, it's on a time track. So also going to log 106. So an accident is going to accelerate whatever happens. So we do not want any accidents. That is going to take some work to get through. Okay. But we've done a great job so far. I have confidence and full faith in my team. The next thing we need to do is take a look at our new mission. Okay, mission, Strike at the Heart. The true objective of the Arrogator invaders was the ancient alien core of ISS Vanguard. It must survive. Objective, defend the core in Sector 2. When you fulfill the objective, you will be asked to discard this mission. Okay, we know it needs to be done. Let's make sure, is there anything else? No, we've fully resolved the log. It was 1 action for Lena to move here, a 2nd action for her to amazingly and heroically fight off the Arrogators all by herself. Didn't even need help from Millie. She did get wounded in the process, small price to pay. Okay, so situation we're at now, it is the end of her turn. We do have to draw an event. And it's going to be bombardment. I thought we dealt with that already. And this actually, this is not going to apply here. There are no symbols here. We are going to progress the time tracks by 1. So, let's see. We've gotten rid of most, in fact, yeah, well, we do have, let's not forget the time tracks we have down here. Right, for the moment of calm. Boy, Millie's got to get out of there before things are no com, we do have, oh yeah, we have this new time track with Vanguard's core. We do lose this global condition, which is going to add a marker to the slot, to the enemy advantage. So that is, decompression is gone. We now have sudden tremors. Whenever you rest or exert, refresh 1 die fewer. Well, that's no fun. I got to spend a red or a blue to move to a connected sector. And this time, failure, we don't move. So, oof. Okay. I guess on the plus side, this one's shorter, but it's going to add another token in pretty short order. Okay, so now it is Millie's turn. Well, I mean, she was going to head out there to help and maybe grab something from the armory, but now it makes a lot more sense for her to head down and see what she can do to deal with this core. Boy, it'd be nice if she had the live stream rig to get some help. She doesn't, so let's see what she can do by herself. All right, it's a bit risky, but I want to hold on to my red and green dice, so I am going to just go ahead. I'll roll a construction die. I have to roll a red or a blue and just hope we don't get an accident. Okay, no accident. Millie is able to move down to Vanguard's core. Now she's got some dice to work with. She has all the symbols she needs. She has a convert ability. She also has the ability to reroll red and green. So, and potentially also to draw cards. So, I don't think we're going to be able to beast this heroically like we did the others and do it all in one shot. But, you know, every bit counts. Let's have Millie get it started. She does have to roll a danger die C. So, all right, here we go. Let's see what happens. All right, we do have an accident. The good news is nothing on the danger die. That accident would be very bad, so we're going to go ahead and play second chance to reroll any number of green dice. And, ooh, a Vanguard, look at that. Okay, so she's definitely going to be able to advance at 1, and I think then what we're going to do is we're going to play Catch a Breath to, just for the bottom ability, draw 2 cards. Keep moving through our deck. A couple focuses, too bad. Maybe we should have rolled an extra die so we could draw more cards, cancel an event, but it didn't happen. So that was spent. Then we spend the other 3. We need a Xenology, a Strength, and a Protect. That will allow us to advance defending the core 1 step of the way. Just 4 more to go. All right, for the moment, we're ahead of the time track. So, speaking of time tracks, we are now, our first action was to move. Her second action was that. We are going to have to draw an event. There is not a sudden cave-in aboard the Vanguard. I suppose we should be glad for that. But it does mean we're going to have to advance a bunch of tracks. Moment of calm over here has come to an end. We are advancing the global condition. Down here, the core is getting surrounded by the enemy. This moment of calm is soon running out. Okay. At least we don't have any threats to deal with for the moment. End of Millie's turn. We're now on to Cheryl's turn. So, what's going down, Cheryl? I mean, she could get over here. She's also, oh no, she's up there. Yeah, I was thinking, I think maybe Nicholas, there's still the possibility of him dealing with that, but he's also got good movement ability. He's got 5 charges. So it being Cheryl's turn right now, she's going to make her way back to the core. Unfortunately, that's going to take her full turn. Don't think there's much I can do about that. Let me figure out what dice I'm going to roll, and we're going to have to deal with log 710 in the middle. All right, so first things first, Millie is going to exert and lose her biology die. Unfortunately, we're only going to get 4 dice back instead of 5 because of our global condition. But she will get, she's loading up on red dice. She then needs to be on the move. So I think we'll start with the basic die. We can reroll any number of red dice. So, this is her first movement. We just need not an accident. All right, it's a Vanguard symbol. That'll do the trick. That will move her to here. We then have to resolve log 710 yet again. All right, let's roll a d10 and see what the result is. All right, this time we got a 4. Okay, and now we have already done that result, but it's just gonna, if you looked in the logbook, it's just gonna, I think it's gonna trigger off either result 3 or result 6. I'm not sure, but all right. Arrogators are trying to storm the bridge. Place card P233 Arrogator Salt on top of any cards in Sector 1. Yuck. Okay, that's all that happens, but that's not great. So now we got to deal with another Arrogator Assault. I mean, I guess potentially we could resolve it. We've been able to beast it so many times that would let us get rid of a marker. But we have probably more important things to deal with at the moment. Oh, we don't even get a moment of calm out of that. Wow. All right, unfortunate. But now she's got to spend her second action. We will roll another die. Yeah, we'll go ahead and roll a strength. I'm not even sure how much it matters. All right, here we go. She is moving. And not an accident, so that is good. She has made her way back to the core, where hopefully she can assist Millie. Those are the end of her 2 actions. We've moved her back down, and now, unfortunately, she has to draw an event. All right, trackers. Let's see. However, this actually does happen. So we are not advancing the time tracks. Well, we can discard 1 equipment card and spend a green die, except we don't have any equipment, so we can't do that. There is the second option, which is to roll Danger Die C. We are going to have to roll Danger Die C. So let's see what comes of that. Boy, and I just realized, if I had rolled an accident when she was moving, it would have been fine because she could have just spent a charge. But here we go. I cannot re-roll this. It's a blank. Whew. I tell you, we're, for the most part, living a charmed life here. I'm not going to complain for that roll. That completes Cheryl's turn. Time tracks do not advance, which is great because maybe we can get through while this moment of calm remains. Well, it depends. Lena still might need to make her way back. But, all right, Nicholas can get back there in a hurry. So I think before he does, I would love to try and do this and launch the lander. Okay. Of course, if it ends up moving us out to that location, I feel like we got time. We have a lot of capable crew, and there are there are unique discoveries, and I don't want to leave without getting everything we can get. So I'm gonna go ahead. I think what I'm gonna do, just to be, I don't have any of the symbols or conversion I need. I do have rerolls, but more importantly, I have focus. So I'm just gonna roll all 3 dice. There's no penalty for an accident. So that'll leave me guaranteed worst case scenario. I spend 2 to turn the other into a Vanguard result. That'll get me what I need. So let's go. All right, how about that? I just roll a Vanguard and 2 basics, which I think would then allow me to do a couple things. Yeah, I can play focus and respite. So first, I'm going to play respite, which is going to allow me to refresh a die. And I think in that case, well, I would have liked to refresh the Vanguard to loan that to Millie, but that not being the case, let's refresh the green basic die, which she can convert. And then I will play focus using my other basic symbol, which is going to allow me to draw 3 cards. Respite, focus, and applied knowledge. Last but not least, I will spend the Vanguard to arm and launch the lander. Go to log 72. If there is no card in Sector 8, yes.
The field of debris left by the exploding irrigator cruiser may still hold something valuable.
Gain unique Discovery 8 and 2 mineral leads. Okay. If unique Discovery 8 is not present, it was already gained during this exploration. Gain 2 alien tech leads. So I don't know if that means we could get it somewhere else, or I guess we could probably just keep redoing this action. Not going to do that, but let me see what unique Discovery 8 nets us. It is an Irrigator Power Core, ship management, and when unloaded, place 1 command token in the command pool. Sure. Not going to complain about that. Again, don't know that we're going to need them. But, all right. So we did that. We gained 2 mineral leads. So, boy, let me track down the lead bag. All right, here we go. We are playing Deadly Space Mode, which means we would need 4 value total. So odds are not that great, but you never know. First one out is a 1. So, all right, we have a 1 in 19 chance of nailing this right now. And I put on the wrong one, but it's a 1. So we got a couple of mineral leads. That's that. Okay. But that's awesome because we got the discovery we were looking for. That was his first action. We'll flip over so we don't forget. Haven't been doing that a lot. Next up is let's get him back over to help out Millie. So we're going to spend a charge after having taken an action, and we are going to move, ignoring the path icons. We do have to roll. He is reckless. We are going to have to roll danger die A. All right, it's 1, so he is going to have to spend a die. Okay, well, glad we were at least able to refresh that one. And now, before I take my second action, I'm going to go ahead and spend another charge and move him up here to the core. And now I am going to have to once again roll a danger die. And if I get a 1 result, then we'll exert. Nope, he's okay. Okay, so now, interesting. I have already done a special action this turn. So I think what I'm going to do now is, for the first time, I mean, he's where we need to be. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and have him rest. And yeah, he's got space for 1 more card. He's running 3, so he's got a hand size of 4. So let's do that first. We'll draw a section card. And then I'm going to take a look and figure out what dice I want to get back. All right, my main goal here is to assist Millie. So send a supply. I forgot to do that before. I will get back that Vanguard die. And then 3 other dice, 2 of which he can convert to strength, plus a defense die. So those are his 2 actions. That is the end of his turn. We will flip this and draw an event. Okay. Impossible structure, not here. So that resolves this time track, which is unfortunately going to put another token on the enemy advantage. We are going to lose our moment of calm. That's unfortunate. This is going to advance 1. The Irrigator Assault is going to advance 1. So now we're in an interesting situation. It is the start of another round, and maybe I don't go with Lena. Let's look at our new Sudden Tremors. Whenever you rest or exert, refresh 1 die fewer. No, we just resolved that. That's gone. It's a moment of calm. So we could potentially gain alien tech leads. In order to travel, we can just do it for free. Move to a connected sector, or we could get a scouting symbol here. I'll pop it up so you can see. Yeah, we can just refresh 2 dice if we manage to get a scouting or a tech, or we can just choose not to roll anything. Now, when this is done, we are going to have to resolve whatever happens down here. All right, so let me figure out who I'm going to start with, and then we'll proceed. I'm not gonna lie. Part of me would love to like work this out to have Millie complete her side goal, but unfortunately, I can't afford to exert a die. I need all 10 of her dice. I'd have to rest twice to do it, so then she wouldn't be able to take the action. So, as exciting as that possibility may be, I think we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna try and deal with this. So she is going to be our start player. She's going to go first. We don't have everybody here. Her first action is going to be to rest. And she is going to get back all of her red dice, this green Xeno die, and a green basic die. And she's going to draw a card. So we got a couple focuses. Reroll a red with Catch a Breath. Reroll any number of red we could get from Cheryl. Reroll any number of green from Nicholas, not to mention a focus. All right, we have a lot of good possibilities. And now let's go and try and finish what we started and defend the core. So we are going to have to roll Danger Die C. That could potentially cause us to spend a die. At this point, who cares? If we have to sacrifice a die, I think we're just going to roll everything. We're going to go for broke. We're going to grab these Vanguard dice from Cheryl and Nicholas, and we're going to see if we can head this thing off right now. Okay, so we do need to keep track of dice separately, because remember, Millie's ability can only be used to change dice that were rolled by assisting. So let's start with Cheryl's assistance. That's an accident. And Nicholas's assistant is a double Vanguard. Hey, how about that? Okay, now let's go ahead and roll Millie's huge pile of dice as she tries to defend the core. Okay, what are we looking at? We have one potential success there. She can convert green, so there's another potential success there. The rest of us not currently doing much help, but and let's see, we rolled the 1. That means we're gonna have to spend a die, which at the moment means we're gonna have to sacrifice a die. Okay, let's look at a few options. We do have some rerolls. We have cards we could spend. I think first off, I'm just gonna play Catch a Breath, and I'm going to reroll this red die. All right. It's a better result. Something we can do with it potentially. We will go ahead with that and play Focus to draw 3 cards. Just draw 1, and then she's going to have to shuffle up to draw the rest. And then she is going to have to discard one of these, as her hand size is only 3. Alright, so let's see. We got Safe Path, Second Chance, and Hideout. Awesome. Okay, we will discard Second Chance. Safe Path, we could re-roll the Danger die, but then we might gain an injury, so let's not take that chance. Let's go ahead and have her spend a charge to convert the die that Cheryl gave to any side. That's going to be the double Vanguard. Nicholas will go ahead and play Focus, like so, for the top ability. So we're going to take 2 dice, go to the spent pool, and again, remember, so Nicholas is playing the card. It's as if now Millie played it. She can take any 2 dice in the roll pool, move them to the spent pool, so we'll definitely get rid of that accident. We'll get rid of this science die, and we will convert this red die to the Vanguard side. All right, so now in this situation, I think we've got 1, 2, plus one of these is 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 symbols we need. We can certainly do the configuration again. That green basic, she's going to be able to convert to strength. So we are able to advance this 3 times. So there is still 1 spot left to go. Let's go ahead and send all those dice back to the spent pool. Actually, before we do that, we do have to resolve the injury. So, I mean, let's go ahead and she will lose a construction die. She'll exert. She'll get the other 4 dice back, and then she has to spend 1. So she'll spend that die, and that resolves that. These then all go to the spent pool. And all right, last but not least, Millie drew a hideout, so we'll go ahead and play that. So end your turn, do not draw an event card, so that's nice. And that is the end of her turn. We don't have to draw an event, so now we go on to Cheryl. All right, let's see if Cheryl can just finish this out. She will spend a supply to rest. Let's get back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. Hardly matters at this point, especially with her ability. We just need that 1 success. You know what, just in case, let's make sure we can also draw some cards. So we will go 1, 2, 3. I could have Millie exert, but honestly, it just feels like overkill at this point. I'll roll these 4 dice. It's going to be more than enough. Here we go. She does have to roll danger die C. So let's go. Cheryl. Oh, well, she also gets to draw a card when resting. So, all right, bodyguard. All right, here we go. All right, double Vanguard and a shield. Perfect. As of right now, she's going to take a wound, but let's see if we can't do something about that. I will spend this blue die to play, to convert it to protect, to play military training, to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. There we go. We got field surgery. So we're going to go ahead and just discard a couple cards, play field surgery. So when I take the wound, I don't take the wound. She'll just spend a charge to convert this to a non-Vanguard side. And that is going to allow us to complete this. All right, so we are going to gain 2 successes, and we are going to go to log 180.
After action report 7-6.
Yes, I was close to the core when that happened. Me and my buddies were one of the last to arrive. When we came to the core, the fire teams already on the ground were on the verge of something impossible. They were beating the enemy back.
Yes.
That's when Captain Wayman was hit. One moment he was leading the charge. The next he was half sitting with his back against the core, a gaping hole in his chest. The enemy took advantage of our shock and confusion and pushed from all the sides, outflanking our cover, forcing us to abandon it piece by piece. Soon we had literally nowhere to go. I thought ISS Vanguard was lost. I really did. Then something came from behind us, its tentacles brushing against my shoulders. I don't know if it walked or flew. It barely touched the ground. The irrigators seemed shocked, but they fired again. These new creatures responded with strange weapons that spewed various corrosive compounds. I couldn't understand where they came from. Then I turned back to the core just as one of them emerged from the blinding light of Vanguard's core, as if it were some kind of portal. More came in from behind, and I swear that for a minute I glimpsed some other place, with red pulsating walls, somewhere beyond the core. But what struck me most was the symbol emblazoned on the creature's rounded armor plates. The same symbol found on the alien ship that became the foundation of ISS Vanguard, one later repurposed as the Vanguard Initiative logo. It was the same symbol on my badge and dog tags. That's when I knew. The old owners of the core decided to step in. We didn't want them to take the brunt of the fighting. We regrouped and pushed forward with our new allies.
Yes. All right. Discard mission card M102.
Dr. Corey's personal diary, entry 213.
We've won, but there was no cheering. When the smoke cleared, we began to tally our losses. Reality began to sink in. We've lost many good friends and co-workers. CopCam Officer Nahi and my dear friend, SAR Pilot Marquez. Captain Wayman was critically wounded, and judging from the looks I've seen on the faces of our trauma team, was not long for this world. We were left grieving on a limping, damaged ship, unable to return home, and unable to reach any place other than a couple of nearby systems. Many, including me, feared this was the end of ISS Vanguard and its mission.
Oh no. All right, we've completed the mission. We gain unique discovery 11. The visitor's tentacle. Ship management when unloaded. Go to log 746. All right, count the number of markers in the enemy advantage slot. There's 2. Add 2 points for each crew member card in the casualty slot. Well, unfortunately, we had 4 people go down. Monica and Camille, who sacrificed themselves, and Yut and Vidas, who also died in the line of duty. All right, so that's 4 times 2. That's 8 plus the 2 counters is 10. Subtract 1 for every success. We have 7 successes. That's a 3 for our final score, which means 4 or fewer all rank 1 and all rank 2 crew members who played in the exploration rank up. So Lena certainly has earned her way up to rank 3, and Millie as well. And there is an opening in rank 3 with the falling of Monica. So, all right, so just a matter of cleanup now. We are going to get a new objective, limping on, and a new ship situation, generator malfunction. So we'll make sure we get those. We lose bridge upgrade B01, and our tech level is down to 0. Ouch. Otherwise, then we're going to go on to ship management. Well, there you have it. The infamous Keppler mission that is known to many as the Red Wedding of ISS Vanguard. We definitely lost some crew, but overall, I have to say this went about as well as it can possibly go. And I don't even think that was a factor of luck, right? We made a lot of good decisions, I think. And again, not going off of having played it before, just based on the information that's given. And these are kind of decisions that I remember making the first time around, was you're looking at your crew, take your best crew, send in 4 people. They say movement is important. So look for crew, if you have them, that have movement abilities. And of course, the recon player being able to get those cards to move people around. I very specifically constructed the deck to make sure that I was either drawing those cards or getting lots of card draw so that I could get to them. And it did end up working out great for us. I mean, we managed to knock off all 3, which seems miraculous. So yeah, we did so well in this that we didn't even burn through the global conditions. Once all 3 global conditions are gone, there is an event that happens that brings on a whole other threat that I'm almost a little disappointed we didn't even get to see. But on the plus side, if you're playing an ISS Vanguard campaign and you haven't done it yet, there's something new that maybe you'll discover. Yeah, there's definitely, we did a lot right here. It just kind of goes to show you with careful strategic play and a little bit of luck, but not really. We had a lot of mitigation. We had a lot of cards unused, a lot of charges left over of people being able to set dice the way they want. I think you can really, again, ISS Vanguard success is all about mitigating the random factors if you want to do really well. So this mission, definitely possible to complete, definitely possible to excel at, as we've shown here. If this is the first video you popped in for because you knew this was going to be the big one, or you saw the thread that I put up talking about, hey, yeah, you really can succeed at Keppler. Thanks for watching. If you're interested, check out some of the other videos in this series. All throughout, on the various planetary explorations, we're doing a lot of interesting stuff, trying different combos with equipment and crew abilities, and looking to strategically optimize, prioritizing rank up. I think there's a lot of good tips in there. And also ship management. We've been really effective at kind of figuring out how to manage our crew and get the most out of them every trip through. So if you're interested, by all means, at a minimum, you made it this far, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, if I did anything wrong, let me know. Maybe I have to play the mission again. I don't know. But I really do appreciate you watching, and we will continue on from here to see what happens next. Until next time.